There are a lot of videos online on how to clean these things. They all kind of suck. This is the real way to do it. First step, I'm gonna put it into maintenance mode. Push and hold the button 7 seconds or so. That just tells the machine that it was actually maintenanced. I'm gonna take it out of maintenance mode though. That just logs that it's been serviced, and then I'm gonna unplug it. Go, unplug it, and then take this out. Remove those 2 screws, and one of these 2 nozzles come out. I think that one, that has to come out in order for this to come off. Once you get those 2 screws out, it lifts up, slides off. Disconnect the water line and the power. That and that, and we just set this aside. When this guy comes off, set that aside, and then this comes off, set that aside. Oops. And then we're going to take out this screw, this screw, this screw, this screw, all of these screws, so we can get the ice out of here. And you got those off. I disconnected those earlier. Just remember where they go. This pops right off. You just set that aside as well. Now we're gonna take all the ice out of here. I find it easier to just kind of scoop it out the chute into that water jug. So now water's drained and ice is empty. Disconnect this hose here. You can just lift this up, slide it forward. You can disconnect that wire. Disconnect that wire, and then use a screwdriver, disconnect the ground. Screws out, lift that up. Set that off to the side. Now, first step is just take that out. And that. Tuck that back off to the side. Take this out. Yeah, there's gonna be some water left in it. Oh well. Disconnect that one. Disconnect that one. And then remember, this is black, orange, yellow. Out of the way. Move that out of the way. I'm going to take out that Allen head and that Allen head. Now that that's removed and that one's removed, this comes up and out. It's not always the easiest to pull out. Set that aside. That's the clamp for the top. Set that aside. This water tray should just come up and off, kind of in there. Set that aside. Now we are going to take gear motor off. We're going to do that by taking out Allen head, Allen head, Allen head, and then this whole thing will slide out. These pieces will come out as well. Now that you have those removed, it's very important. There's a little key right there. Always, to this day, it gets away from me, so that slides out. The key is in there. It'll fall out eventually. Just make sure you don't lose it. Convenient, put that there. Take off this insulation. You're gonna take out that Allen head, that Allen head. There's one more down there, and then this will slide off. Well, actually, try to get that out first, because this is a pain in the ass. This is a pain to get out. Let's see if I can just grab it and wiggle it free. I gotta put this down. So I wasn't able to get this out of the main housing. So what I did was I took out the 3 Allen head bolts, and then I used a pair of pliers gripped here and just kind of wiggled it back and forth and slid it out. The reason why that has to come out is once this is out, the auger won't come out of the main housing unless this guy is out. So you take that out and then you can slide the auger out. All right, now that that's out, this comes out by spinning it, and then just take that off. And then we're gonna take off this screw and another screw down there, take this guy off, and then we're gonna get this out of the way, and I'll show you how to clean the evaporator. So screws are removed. That just wiggles right off of there. It's a good shot of some nastiness in there that needs to get cleaned. Set that up there. This guy just pops right off. I'm gonna take this O-ring out as well and wipe it off, re-lube it before I put it back on there. But what we want to do is we want to clean inside there, get that calcium buildup off the evaporator wall, otherwise your ice machine is going to start squealing. All right, so what I did was I took off that O-ring, I used a rag, dried up a majority of the water with the rag. Easiest way I found to clean these, use a heat gun, and you're gonna just heat it up on the inside, dry up all the water, and then that way it'll be easier to remove all the scale, and it'll be easier to see the scale that you have to remove. All right, everything's dry. You can see all the scale build up in there and around this edge as well. And if you look at this side, you can see even more of it. You want to get all that white stuff out of there. I'm going to use this Scotch-Brite. I'm going to roll it up into a round kind of tube shape like such, and I'm going to shove it in there, and then I'm just going to slide it back and forth until it's clean. So I've got my Scotch-Brite in there, and I really need 2 hands to do this, but essentially what I'm going to do is slide this back and forth. So I'm basically done. Yeah, I got a little bit of tidying up to do in there, but like with the exception of that little bit right there, it's mostly clean on the inside. I might hit it up a little bit more, but that's kind of what you want to do. All right, so this is my big pile of pieces. I'm not going to go through step by step and show you how to clean them, but if you see scale or crud or whatever you want to call it on your pieces, make sure you clean it. Like this is the auger, get all that stuff off there. This is one of the cutters, get all that white stuff off there. You're going to want to lube it as well before you put it back together, especially this piece, so that when you take it apart the next time, it's easy to come apart. The scale has a tendency to kind of make the parts stick together. All right, so all done cleaning my evaporator. I went ahead and cleaned this guy, got all the crud out of it. You have to make sure you clean out your 1/4 inch water lines, or in this case, I think it's a vent line. Otherwise, it'll get clogged up with scale. I lubed up my O-ring as well, put my retainer on. This is gonna slide right on there, and then I'm gonna use these 2 screws, secure that back in place. I put this back on there as well, and then I rinse that off in the sink, put it back in place. When you tighten this end cap back on, make sure you don't over tighten these 2 screws. This plastic cap will crack and leak. So that's pretty clean, or as clean as I'm gonna get it. And that goes right in there and onto cleaning that part. All right, so these 2 pieces have been cleaned. It's very important to apply some lube, so that you can get it apart. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna slide it onto here. And then, once that's in place, this will get pushed down and then it'll lock into place. Sorry, this has got to get rotated to the back position, and then it should just go down in there. And then get your screws and screw it into place. All right, got the main housing back in place. 3 of these hex bolts. Make sure that this clip is installed with your vent tube, and make sure you get the calcium deposits out of that. All right, you're gonna want to put your insulation piece on. Slide that over. It's easier to put this down where it belongs. Make sure that's in place, and then slide this guy on there. Make sure your wires are out of the way. Nice and snug. Like I said earlier, this key is very important. It sits right inside that slot. You have to kind of move this around to get it to land home. There you go. You're gonna push that back into place. You're gonna put this guy on there, and then this guy will slip right in there, but I'm gonna need 2 hands to kind of pull this out and then slip that in. The end result should look something like that. And then I'm gonna put that bolt and that bolt. And then that'll be done for the gear motor. Next step, clean the water tank. Make sure you open it up. It's always full of nastiness down in there as well. Get as much of that out as possible. So after you clean the water reservoir, set it back in place, drop that in there. That gets tightened down. And then you want to put this on there, like that. Don't forget to connect your wires, black, orange, yellow, just like that. Then you're gonna slide this over, connect your water, excuse me, that's actually a vent. Connect vent as well. And connect this one back over here. And this one over here. So after you got that all put together, you're gonna take your transport tube, make sure you clean that and then lube it up, and lube up that section there, and then that slides down in place. You're gonna get your hex head and tighten that down. Now that your transport tube's in place, my ice storage or hopper is clean. Set that up there, kind of get it set, and then you're gonna connect your power, and then, oh gosh, dang it. And then you're going to connect your 2 powers and your ground. All right, storage bin in place. I cleaned my water tube. Now it's time to leak check it. Before you add your cleaner in here, just throw some warm water or something in there, and then check this whole area for leaks. And then if it doesn't leak, we're gonna mix up some Follett Safe Clean Plus, throw it in there, let it sit for 10 to 15, and then we're gonna rinse it out. I verified that my machine doesn't leak. Some warm water. Follett Safe Clean Plus. And we're just going to go ahead and put this in here. And then we're going to let that soak in the system. I'm going to get a rag, dip it in there, sanitize the rest of the storage bin, and then after 10 minutes, I'm going to dump the cleaner, add some fresh water, rinse it out 2-3 times, and then put the top back on. I let my cleaner sit for 10 to 15. I drained it out with my drain hose, filled it up with clean water, drain it again, fill it up, drain it again, make sure there wasn't any cleaner left. Connected my transport tube, reconnected my wires. Remember, black and orange wire are on the back. It doesn't really matter which one goes where, as long as they're on the back 2 prongs. Put my cover back on and re-secured my screws. Time to plug it in, turn it on, let it run. It's a good idea to dump the first 10 to 15 minutes of ice just to make sure there's no residual cleaner in the system, and that no one tastes that when they consume the ice. This machine's been running for about 15 to 20. Before you put it together, make sure you check for leaks. So I went ahead and put this insulation cover on, put the side panel on, put the other side panel on, top panel, and then I'll put the front panel on. Dispense your ice, dispense your water.